Welcome to week 4, lesson 1 of the Store Manager Academy. Congratulations on making it this far through the Academy. I know you've been learning so much through these last 3 weeks, and many of you are probably overwhelmed with the information. That's why I encourage you to only watch 1 to 2 videos per day so you can have time to really learn the principles, let them sink in, and start applying them each day. If you can apply just the principles from each video each day, you're going to really set yourself up for success. Now, today's lesson is actually a really important lesson. And many of you that have read the title and you clicked on this video and you're like, I'm just going to watch the first few seconds, probably doesn't apply to me. I want you to just stop for a second and know that, and I'm going to tell you right now, this video is absolutely vital to your success. You need to understand what we're going to talk about. You need to watch this video in full. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about what your team does or doesn't do when you're away. You've probably heard the saying, when the cat's away, the mice play. Well, that is very true. When the manager's away, the associates play. We're going to talk about some, just real quickly, some of the red flags, the warning signs of your store if you have a team that's actually working to build the business, to grow the revenue, to increase customer service standards versus a store that's working against you, that's hurting the business, hurting your sales, hurting your revenue, hurting your customer service standards. Some of these red flags are pretty easy to recognize right away. How many of you watching this, when you get a customer complaint, does it happen on your watch? Does it happen when you're actually working that shift? Does that when the complaints come in? Or do they come in when you just you've just walked into your house, you sat down for some dinner, and you get an email notification on your phone that you got a customer complaint? Or you got an email from your DM saying, oh my gosh, what's going on in your store, Steven? Isn't that crazy? It happens almost every time when you're just leaving the store. I remember getting a complaint within the first 15 minutes of being gone from my store. It's like, I can't even leave my freaking store without getting a customer complaint in the first 15 minutes. How frustrating is that? I know many of you that are watching this, it happens to you. And that is your first big warning sign that you do not have a high performance culture and your team is definitely working against you when you're gone. They're not helping you build the business. They are hurting your business. So you've got to take care of that quickly. Now, some other things you can do to recognize, to look for these red flags is your sales. If hopefully you can compare your sales hour by hour, you should really take a look at the volume that's done in the hours that you're gone versus that same day last year. It's really interesting. You'll see in many cases that you may be hitting your volume for the day, but it's during the hours that you're there. When you're there, your team's hitting that volume. They're making up for the volume that the team doesn't do when you're not there. So do yourself a favor. If you have the systems that you can look at this information, you've got to look at it. You've got to dig into the hourly sales and look at them compared to the same hours last year. And you would just be shocked how your sales are actually worse over last year. That's another big glaring red flag that even though maybe you're not getting customer complaints, which is doubtful, you're probably getting them if this is the case, but you have your sales declining hour over hour, year over year. It's so interesting. Look to that information. If you don't have access to it, talk to your DM, your management, see if you can get that kind of reporting in place, or if you need to do it on paper yourself. But that's going to really help you. Other things you can do if you have a camera system, obviously, is to go look back at footage. I always encourage new managers, so new managers that are watching this or managers to be, do audits during the busy hours of the store when you're not there. Go in there and review footage of the busiest times of the day that you're not there and see how your team is handling customers, how they're handling the lines. Are they embracing your line management roles? Do you have people sitting on the counters when it's busy? Do you have people eating food at the counter when it's busy? Do you have people, employees just chit-chatting? They've got a little circle and they're just talking for a half an hour. I used to do this as a manager. I don't recommend you do it, but I would take pictures of these huddles where if it was more than 30 minutes, or there's like 5 employees just sitting there in the huddle talking, when there's tons of stuff to do, it wasn't like the store was in perfect condition and product didn't need to be stocked. And I would literally take that photo off the screen and I would post it in my office for everyone to see. That was a bad thing to do. Shouldn't have done it, but I was trying to make a point. I do not like people just congregating for freaking 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time doing absolutely nothing. It drove me bonkers. It should drive you crazy too, so maybe you handle it that way. Don't do it. You'll get in trouble. Back when I was a manager, you could get away with it. But what you can do is actually take that photo and then call each person individually one by one and talk to them about this photo. Can you tell me about this? Oh, well, what's the big deal? We were just chatting for a minute. Nope, you were chatting for 35 minutes. Can you tell me why? And that's where you can have that dialogue. So if you can, do video audits. Just do it once a week. I would do it on a Monday. I would just audit over the weekend what the hours that I wasn't there, which was only a few hours. I would like to see what my team is doing when I'm not there. You need to know what your team is doing or not doing. I'm telling you this, it's really important. Your business will suffer if you don't know what your team's doing when you're gone, because they could be building your business or they could be destroying your business. And it's all because you neglected to actually find out what they're doing when you're gone. You want to entrust your team and think they can do all the right things when you're gone. But until your team's actually earned your trust and proven it, you need to verify. You need to make sure your team is actually doing what they're supposed to when you're gone. And when they're not, you're going to address it, and you're going to address it immediately. You're not going to put off that difficult conversation. You're going to bring them in their office, you're going to lay out the facts, and you're going to build a performance improvement plan to change that behavior right away. And that's how you start to build that high performance culture in your store when you're gone. I hope this training helped you. I really do. You need to break through those walls of people not doing their job when you're gone. You need to understand what's going on in your store when you're not there, and you need to address it immediately. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you in lesson 2. Thank you.